Good morning. This is Debbie Royce, Empire State Development's Corporate Secretary. I'd like to welcome everyone to the meeting this morning. Before we formally begin, I would ask that everyone please mute your lines unless you are speaking. We'll begin today by taking a roll call of the directors to ensure we have a quorum present. If you are on the line, please be so kind as to say present when I call your name. Howard Zemsky.
Present.
Eric Gertler. Eric Gertler.
Present. I didn't hear you, sorry.
That's okay. Hilda Rosario Escher.
Present.
Cesar Perales.
Present.
And Shawna Pence.
Present.
Okay, thanks very much, everybody, for joining. I'm Howard. We have a quorum, so you can get started.
Okay, thanks so much, Debbie, and thanks, everyone, for joining, and good morning. I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the New York State Urban Development Corporation, doing business as Empire State Development, for Thursday, May 21st, 2020. Before we get started, I'll ask that everyone please mute their phone until you're ready to speak. Also, for the record, I will ask that anyone wishing to speak, please be sure to state your name before you begin. I'd like to note for the record that due to public health concerns and as authorized by an executive order of the governor, this meeting will be conducted by teleconference. I'll also note for the record that the public was given the opportunity to comment on the agenda items by submitting their written comments by 4:30 p.m. yesterday. There were no comments received from the public concerning today's agenda items. As always, directors have received the written materials in advance and are free to ask questions at any time. At this time, I'll ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the items on the agenda. Okay, being no conflicts, the first item on today's agenda is the approval of the minutes of the April 16th, 2020 Directors Meeting. Please state your name before speaking. Are there any questions, comments, additions, or deletions? Is there a motion for approval?
Motion.
Thank you, Eric. Is there a second?
I'll second. Shonik here.
Okay, thanks so much. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. We'll now move to the report section of the agenda, and I'll ask Eric to start things off with his president's report. Thank you, Eric.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Howard. And first and foremost, I just hope that everybody is staying safe and healthy, and that you're coping as well as possible with the circumstances. And you know, obviously, the fact that we're dialing in once again to a monthly board meeting, suggests that we're still within this pandemic crisis. But thankfully, as for those of you, which I'm sure is probably everybody on this phone call tracking the governor's daily press conferences, it's at least good to see that the numbers are improving daily. They still need to get better, but at least we're seeing sort of a decline in some of the horrendous statistics we saw many weeks ago, making strides to open up the economy. Now, as of I guess today, 7 of the state's 10 regions are now considered reopened, and that is reopened for phase 1, which permits certain industries to operate, or certain businesses within industries to operate within construction, within agriculture, forestry, fishing and hunting, retail, but that's limited to curbside or in-store pickup, manufacturing, and wholesale trade. And over the next few weeks, hopefully we'll see the remaining 3 regions open up, and then as well some of the additional phases open up. But of course, that's balanced with the health concerns and making sure that we keep all the statistics related to spikes in check. So all of that is extremely important. In getting to the place where parts of the state could open up was a tremendous accomplishment, and that required an enormous amount of planning and construction organization, which are ESD strengths, and in which ESD was heavily involved with, working closely with Chamber and some of our sister agencies to make sure that as we opened those regions, we did so in an orderly, responsible, and safe way. For those of you that have not looked at either the ESD website or the New York Forward website, there's a lot of very important information. Much of that has been work that ESD has been involved with, and there is a great user-friendly one-stop digital wizard, which is the New York Forward Business Reopening Lookup Tool, and that allows businesses to find out quickly whether they can open and what they need to do to open. So that is part of the work that ESD did. We helped to create some of the new safety and operating guidelines for businesses, which, as you can imagine, was critical to reopening the first phase of the economy in the 7 regions that have opened up. So just to give you a few other things that we worked on under the contract authority that was granted to me at the board meeting in March, we've been able to move forward on a number of grants to help manufacturers retool for this economy. We awarded more than $4 million to companies across the state from 5 regions to support production of, some of the important supplies that we need for COVID-19, from improved facial masks to ventilators to diagnostic antibody test kits. And there's certainly a lot that we've done. I think that last board meeting I gave everybody an update, but just so many parts of this that ESD has been involved in, which makes me really quite proud of all the work the agency has done. 2 other things I just wanted to note. To the board, you may remember that I sent you a memo last month outlining several administrative relief actions that I directed the agency to develop for businesses that had commitments owed to ESD. As you can imagine, from all the disruption caused from coronavirus that has caused much disruption to our economy, this memo gives businesses the ability to seek to postpone the obligations that they had for 12 months, which is really quite reasonable and allows them to create a fair baseline for those companies to resume their job creation targets that they'd established before the current crisis struck. And then on another positive note, last week both lawsuits against the Belmont Park redevelopment project were dismissed. This is a decisive victory, and I think goes to the sort of smart economic development that we do and validates our vigorous environmental review and robust public engagement process. So the upside is a project that will deliver thousands of jobs and billions in economic activity to the downstate region will go forward. And clearly, at this time, that's needed more than ever. So let me just close by saying I remain so proud of the work that our agency has done. It continues to be a privilege for me to be able to lead this organization, certainly through this pandemic. And I want to, again, reiterate to everyone 2 simple words: thank you. Thank you for all the great and dedicated and tireless work that every one of these agencies' employees are undertaking. And hopefully we'll be able to, again, see each other in person in the not-too-distant future. And, for those of you that can't remember I'm 6'2", just in case you forgot. The event, end of report, and a thank you to everyone.
Thanks, Eric. Thank you for those wonderful remarks and for your leadership. I can tell you, as a business person who's been using the forward tools that you talked about, ESD working to develop, they worked incredibly well. for the short amount of time that those tools had to be developed and for the wide range of businesses they had to be developed for. So I can tell you that has been so impressive. And also the way, in my own experience out in Buffalo, the way the Western New York region has been able to handle a wide array of incoming calls and inquiries, and how quickly we're able to respond to businesses. There's not a ton we can do to change the circumstances of the economy at the moment, but it's extremely helpful to businesses when we get back to them very quickly and very accurately with the many questions they have during these difficult times. And I see us doing that in Western New York, and I'm absolutely certain that we're doing that all across the state. So I want to add my thanks to you and to the team for making it easier for businesses to function during otherwise very difficult times.
Great. Yeah, the tool is also a great example of terrific collaboration across agencies. We helped to guide some of the information. We worked with ITS, we worked with Chamber, and so I think you see an output that shows incredible collaboration during a difficult time, and more difficult given that everybody's been working remote, but the end product speaks for itself. I think everybody did a great job. So thank you for those comments, Howard.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Glenn, will you present a summary of projects before we move to the regional presentations?
Yes, thank you, Howard, and good morning, directors. The directors will be requested to consider 13 projects totaling $16,742,092 in grants. The projects include 1 Buffalo Billing Award, 7 Regional Council Awards, and 5 discretionary awards. The projects will take place in the Western New York, Finger Lakes, Central New York, Mohawk Valley, New York City, and Southern Tier regions, leverage over $304 million of additional investment, retain 396 jobs, and create 119 jobs in the state. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. We have the regional directors on the line, and we're going to kick it off with Amanda Mays with the 43 North Working Capital Project. Amanda?
Good morning. The directors are asked to approve a working capital grant of $462,000 from the Buffalo Regional Innovation Cluster, Buffalo Billion 2, to 43 North for 3 years of implementation of the Forge Buffalo program. The initiative is part of the Western New York region's portfolio of programs focused on tech sector talent attraction and retention to increase the tech talent pool and help Western New York continue to play a part in rebuilding its economy. 43 North is collaborating with Viaduct, a local talent acquisition company, on the creation of a new job portal and information hub that provides a resource for Western New York startups and tech companies to post job openings and search profiles of job seekers. 43 North is hiring a dedicated staff person to perform marketing and recruitment activities, deployment of resources for online digital recruitment tools to reach exponentially more job seekers, digital advertising to reach target audiences, and events that will target startups and small businesses in finding talent to grow their companies. The program began incurring costs in February, so board action is being sought so reimbursement can take place.
Okay, thanks, Amanda. Appreciate it. Are there any comments or questions from the directors regarding this item? We don't have any comments from the public on this. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
I move it.
Okay, thank you. There was a motion and a second. All
Yes.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, the motion carries. Thank you, Amanda. Next up, there's one project from the Finger Lakes. Vinny, thanks for joining. Vinny, are you on the line? Finger Lakes? Anyone from the Finger Lakes to present an item? Okay, we'll come back to the Finger Lakes. Let's jump ahead to Central New York. Jim Fail, are you on the line?
I am. Good morning.
Okay, Jim, thanks. Take it away.
All right, the directors are being asked to approve a $341,000 grant to Oneida Air Systems on a $1.6 million project. This will allow the company to purchase machinery and equipment such as 3D printers, balance machines, various dust collection systems. This company started in 1993, and they started with small dust collection systems for woodworking companies, and now have evolved into a large-scale manufacturer of dust collection systems. This project was a round 6 priority project. It was completed in December of 2019, and it was going to create one job. And they have met that goal, and I would be glad to take any questions.
Okay, any questions or comments for Jim Fail on this item? We don't have any comments from the public. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. All in
Second.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Thank you. The motion carries. Vinny, are you on the line? Okay, we're going to move to the Mohawk Valley region. Mike Reese has 2 projects. Mike?
Good morning, Howard. Good morning, Board of Directors. The directors are being asked to approve a CFA Round 4 capital grant of up to $600,000 to be used as a portion of the cost to construct and equip an assistive technology laboratory at SUNY Polytechnic Institute in Utica. The Assistive Technology Services provides a new component to an existing partnership between Citron Healthcare and SUNY Poly to rehabilitate wounded soldiers facing barriers to reemployment after returning home from military service. Existing rehabilitation services include counseling, occupational speech and physical therapy, adaptive sports, computer skills, and job training. The Assistive Technology Lab customizes commercially available equipment to more fully restore functionality, thereby enabling the soldiers to return to work. Equipment purchased by the laboratory include an EEG machine, 10 lifts to assist patients in and out of beds, and 3D printers to aid work on prosthetic hands and legs. Equipment also included an abrasive water jet and a laser cutting machine to increase the types of materials to be used. The total project cost is $11,874,000, and the project was completed in January 2020. My second project, the directors are being asked to approve a round 6 capital grant of up to $600,000 to be used for a portion of the cost of construction, renovation, and purchase of machinery and equipment at the Oriskany Manufacturing Company located in Oneida County. The company was formed in 1997, currently operates out of 2 facilities in Oriskany and 1 facility in New York Mills. Oriskany Manufacturing specializes in design, manufacture, fabrication, and finishing of aluminum, copper, stainless steel, and steel tubular products. They are a components and parts supplier to the mass transit vehicles market and HVAC original equipment manufacturers. Oriskany Manufactured purchased and renovated a 175,000 square foot building, purchased equipment including laser cutters, 3D printers, CNC tube benders, and various other presses, punches, brazers, and end forming machines. The project will increase the company's capacity, capability, and market share, and advance its manufacturing technological capability in order to provide more precise and cost-effective products to the industries that it serves. Total project cost is $4,681,000, and the project was completed in April 2020. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, 2 items from the Mohawk Valley. Any questions or comments from directors on either of those items?
Yes, Howard. As a member of the Board of Trustees of SUNY, I think I have to recuse myself on the SUNY project.
Okay, so noted. Any other questions or comments? And thanks, Cesar. There were no comments from the public. Is there a motion to approve both items?
Motion for both.
Thanks, Eric. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? None. Okay, those 2 projects are approved. Thank you, Mike. Joe Taswell and Destiny Burns each will present an item from the New York City region. Joe, are you going to start?
Yes, Howard, thank you. Good morning. The directors are requested to approve a $986,792 grant to the Brooklyn Navy Yard Development Corporation. in connection with a $5.05 million project to enhance and make more accessible the transportation infrastructure in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. This project was designated by the New York City Regional Council as a priority in REDC Round 6, as it supports a number of states' priorities, supporting workforce development, tradable sectors, placemaking, and innovation. The Brooklyn Navy Yard encompasses over 300 acres with more than 70 buildings, housing more than 500 businesses and 11,000 employees. The Navy Yard is managed and operated by the Brooklyn Navy Yard Development Corporation. In the past, the Navy Yard has struggled with poor access to public transportation with limited access to subway lines and commuter rail. To address this issue, the Navy Yard has been working to create a modern, reliable shuttle service system that connects to multiple public transit options to serve thousands of employees and customers. The new system, which includes 5 new buses, 10 bus shelters, a GPS and Wi-Fi system, a New York City ferry landing, and other infrastructure improvements, will reduce wait times, improve transportation reliability, enhance the Navy Yard's competitiveness as a location for innovative job creation tenants. The project is tied to the retention of 150 jobs and the creation of 23 new jobs. The Navy Yard has already exceeded its new job commitment and has met the milestones necessary to receive its first grant disbursement. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Destiny?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Howard. The directors are asked to approve a $6 million grant to the Upper Manhattan Empowerment Zone, or UMEZ. UMEZ administers the Upper Manhattan portion of the New York Empowerment Zone, which was designated by HUD back in 1994. $100 million came with the designation, and it was matched by New York City and New York State. To date, the zone has received 100% of federal and city funds and only 94% of New York State's portion. This funding would bring that number up to 100% and satisfy the state's commitment. UMEZ will use the funds toward the larger loan to the National Urban League project, which will transform a garage on 125th Street into a mixed-use facility housing the headquarters for the National Urban League, a civil rights museum, conference center, commercial office space, retail, and a new home for local not-for-profits, Jazzmobile, and 100 Black men. And it will also include housing, affordable, and supportive. Construction of a new headquarters of the National Urban League project will bring the prominent national civil rights organization back to Harlem, where it was founded more than 100 years ago. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Destiny. Are there any questions or comments from directors on either of these two projects presented by Joe and Destiny?
Howard, it's Eric. Question for Joe. I just wanted to make sure that I understand on the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Does the grant also include, and I think I heard you correctly, a bus with Wi-Fi to the ferry landing?
Yes, it does indeed, Eric.
And is it multiple buses or?
Yes, it's multiple buses. It's 5 new buses.
Got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's all I want to know. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions or comments for Joe or Destiny? Okay, there were no comments from the public on these items. Is there a motion to approve both items?
Motion.
Thank you, Eric.
Second.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Donna Howell from the Southern Tier has 3 items. Donna, take it away.
Thanks, Howard. Good morning, directors. The first is 7 Hawley. We're requesting approval for a grant of $2,152,300 to the Binghamton Urban Renewal Agency for a portion of the cost of construction for a new parking garage in the city of Binghamton's urban core, which will contribute to downtown revitalization by increasing access to safe, conveniently located parking. And this is actually the result of a 2014 parking study that demonstrated a high level of demand in the core. of Binghamton. And this Round 5 priority project is consistent with our Southern Tier Regional Economic Development Council's plan to build the greater Binghamton innovation ecosystem through strategic investment in the Binghamton Innovation District, or I District, as well as ESD's strategy of placemaking, and the project will be complete in April 2021. The second project is Sports Field Specialties. We're requesting approval for a grant of $500,000 to Sports Field Specialties for the cost of construction, as well as the acquisition of machinery and equipment to expand their sports equipment business in Delaware County. The project includes the construction of a 59,500 square foot addition and also creates 20 net new jobs. The Round 8 priority project is consistent with the Regional Council's plan to invest in advanced manufacturing, as well as ESD strategy to build tradable sectors. The project is already complete. It was done in February. And the third project is for the Village of Watkins Glen. We're requesting approval for a grant of $1,250,000 to Village of Watkins Glen for a portion of the cost of design and related analysis for a brand new state-of-the-art regional wastewater treatment plant. This new plant will replace the aging treatment facility, which is right in the middle of the downtown of Watkins Glen on the Seneca Lake waterfront, which will be able to pave the way for future development in that site. And it's also a Round 2 DRI community. This Round 4 priority project is consistent with our Regional Council's plan to support the region's innovative ecosystem by investing in our tourism assets, as well as the ESD strategy for placemaking, and the planning phase was complete this month. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, thanks, Donna. Appreciate it. 3 great projects in the Southern Tier. Are there any questions from any of the directors regarding any of these 3 projects from Donna? There have been no comments from the public on this. Is there a motion to approve all 3 projects?
I
Motion.
Thank you. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Those, thank you, Donna. Those all are approved. I believe Vinny is back on the line from the Finger Lakes. Vinny?
Hi, Howard. I'm sorry about that. My apologies to everyone. Yes, I have one item, which is a $1.5 million capital grant from the Upstate Revitalization Initiative for the City of Rochester to renovate and expand the terrace at the historic Rundell Library, which is a project that was part of the Rock the Riverway initiative. It's a $7.8 million renovation project that overlooks the historic aqueduct over the river. It started in March, and will be completed next summer, but it is eligible for progress payments, so it's coming to the board at this time.
Okay, thanks, Vinny. Any questions or comments for Vinny on this item in the Finger Lakes? Okay, there were no comments from the public on this. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Thanks, Eric. A second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thanks, Vinny. Next up, we have the Restore New York consent calendar and the non-discretionary consent calendar items, which will be presented by Simone Bethune. Simone, thank you.
Thank you, Howard, and good morning to the directors and to everyone. Today we're seeking directors' approval for 3 Restore New York grants. The first item is a Round 4 grant to the City of Utica and the Mohawk Valley region for $1 million to rehabilitate 2 vacant historical buildings in accordance with the city's 2011 comprehensive plan. The plan focused on developing Utica's downtown consistent with the city's heritage and architecture. ESD funds were used for significant masonry repairs, installation of new windows, and asbestos abatement to both buildings. To date, the former security building located at 120 Bleecker Street has now been fully renovated and leased by the Legal Aid Society for a base term of 10 years and now employs 40 people.
Oh.
The former New Century Club located at 253 Genesi Street has been structurally salvaged and will serve as new office space in the downtown business district. The second item is a $1 million Round 5 grant to the city of Johnstown in the Mohawk Valley region for rehabilitation of the Diana Knitting Mill. a 62,000 square foot building which was transformed into a mixed-use facility for light manufacturing, distribution, and office space for Townsend Leather, a New York-based specialty leather producer founded in 1969. The project was complete in November 2019 at a cost of approximately $2.7 million. The third item is a round 5 grant of $350,000 to the Village of Webster in the Finger Lakes region. The village oversaw rehabilitation of 5 contiguous vacant properties into a combination of commercial and retail storefronts to revitalize the village's main street. Some of the business tenants include a children's craft studio, office space, women's clothing store, and a bistro and wine bar. As of September 2019, the project is nearly completed with over 85% occupancy. And I can take any questions on those or move to the non-discretionary item.
Okay, why don't you go to the non-discretionary item, Simone?
Okay. I have one non-discretionary item. The directors are being asked to approve. I'm sorry, I'm hearing someone's phone in the background.
Yeah, I was about to comment. Howard, could you make sure that everybody's on mute? They are not on mute.
This is Debbie Royce. I just asked to remind everyone to please put your phones on mute so we don't have any background noise.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
I have one non-discretionary item. The directors are being asked to approve a total of $2,467,904 to Onondaga County, which represents the remaining portion of an executive-sponsored $30 million allocation for neighborhood revitalization projects in the village of Salve. In addition, directors are being asked to approve 5 modifications to the project scope. On April 21st, 2016, a grant of $21,814,396 of the $30 million allocation was approved by the directors for 4 Onondaga County revitalization projects. And on May 19, 2016, a grant of $5,717,700 of the $30 million allocation was approved for 4 additional Onondaga County revitalization projects. The total amount previously approved by the directors on the $30 million allocation was $27,532,096. By way of background, as mentioned previously, the project involves a number of revitalization projects taking place in the village of Salve, which are being overseen by the Onondaga Community Development Division. These projects consist of streetscape and sewer improvements to Milton Avenue, construction of a 4-story mixed-use development, construction of 4 new homes, and creation of a revolving loan fund for owner-occupied and rental housing in the village of Salve. Since its original approval, the projects have evolved, and the following requests are being made to the directors to modify some of the elements of this project scope. For the grant identified as AA893 in the amount of $1,068,599, the county is first requesting to expand the project location to the entire town of Geddes instead of just the village of Salve. The reason for this request is to accommodate more eligible participants who currently fall outside of the target area. Secondly, the county is requesting to increase the revolving loan fund amortization schedule from 7 years to 10 years. A longer period of time to pay back the loan would make it more affordable for residents with lower income. Third, the county wants to be allowed to use funds for interior improvements. Currently, the project scope only anticipates exterior work. 4, the county is asking to repurpose funds for construction of 2 homes instead of building 4 new homes. The grantee indicated that this adjustment would make the project feasible. And finally, the county is requesting to be allowed to allocate $50,000 of the grant to administrative costs and $1,018,599 to facade improvements to complete the project. To date, the grantee has fully completed the work in the project identified as AA823 involving improvements to the streetscape and sewer. For the construction of homes and the revolving loan program, the program has loaned just under $300,000. And the changes proposed are based on feedback received from people who are interested in participating in the program who live in the town of Geddes but not in the village of Salve. as well as residents who would participate if the interior projects were eligible. The county has also received many requests from lower income residents that extending the term would allow for lower payments, making them able to undertake a project. If the board approves these requests, the projects can proceed right away. And I can take any questions.
Okay, thanks, Simone. Any questions for Simone from any of these Restore New York community programs or the non-discretionary consent calendar community projects funds? Any of these items? There's been no comments from the public on any of these items. I'll entertain a motion to approve all the items presented by Simone.
Motion.
I so move.
Thank you. Motion and second. Motion carries. I just want to remind everyone to please keep their phone on mute. We're hearing background conversations. Thank you. Next up, Scott Rasmussen will present a request for affirmation of a previously approved broadband program. Scott?
Good morning. The Broadband Program Office is seeking the Director's affirmation of a new New York broadband program, Phase 3 project award to Hughes Network Systems, LLC, in light of negative public hearing comments received on November 13th, 2019. The award of up to $59,850 in grant and state grant funding was approved at the board's October 17th, 2019 meeting and will address 380 unserved locations in Clinton, Franklin, and St. Lawrence counties. The Hughes Award covers a portion of the approximately 4,900 locations previously awarded to Mohawk Networks. These 4,900 locations were re-auctioned in the new New York broadband program after Mohawk Networks informed the BPO that it could not complete its projects due to unforeseen problems with its initial design and cost overruns. 5 speakers offered negative testimony at the November 13th public hearing, which was held in Malone, New York. The comments centered on the quality of satellite-based broadband service and did not differ significantly from previous negative comments received on Hughes projects ultimately affirmed by the board. Please let me know if you have any questions about this project.
Okay, Directors, any questions or comments for Scott on this broadband item? We have no comments from the public on this item. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Scott. Vincent Ravishir will present today's final item relating to the New York State Cessation Mitigation Program. Vincent?
Thank you, Howard. Good morning, Directors. The board is being asked to approve a grant for approximately $1.1 million for the town of Tonawanda. The award will offset the reduction of payments and property taxes to the town from Huntley Power LLC due to the closure of the Huntley Power Plant. This is the 4th of the 7 program years for the town of Tonawanda, and the award represents 50% of its property tax loss from the plant for this year. Approval of the grant will bring total disbursements from the fund to approximately $31.8 million. I would be pleased to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Any questions or comments from Directors to Vincent on this? There is no comments from the public. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Thank you. And Hilda, second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. There's no further business. Thank you all for your great work. And is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I move to adjourn.
Thank you, Howard.
Take care. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.